All right,
Is your favorite rapper of all time? Go.
Biggie Smalls is the illest.
Occasionally, I do something called the 5-star shout out. I'm not gonna say this line. I'm not gonna say it because I don't believe in it. I don't believe in. You can't make a. You know what I'm talking about.
So E.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing out there today? Welcome to the side, Jawn. It's your boy Dennis Holmes in the building. I'm here with the chocolate girl. What's going on, chocolate girl?
Hey, everybody, I'm here. I am here. How are you doing today? You know,
I'm
it's my
doing pretty
favorite day of the week. Favorite day of the week.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I'm happy to be here. We got a great show this morning. You know, listen, we got a show so good for y'all this morning. We actually renamed the show to Man on Fire because the way that he's touching the airwaves and and talking to the youth out there and helping them in a major way, we had to call this show Man on Fire. Now,
Right.
we are talking about I'm gonna say radio host, coach. Also, he is director of player and personnel at St. Joe's, and he's a former player of St. Joe's alma mater. We are talking about the one, the only, E. Woods, Erick Woods, aka E. Woods. You on mute,
What's
E.
up, Dennis? What's up,
What's
Dennis?
What's going on? How's everything, man?
Everything's good, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, one thing.
How are you? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
All right.
One thing we always do here is we always start off and ask you how was your week. So, being effect you a guest, how was your week, E. Woods?
Oh man, the week was pretty good, man. A lot of planning for the spring semester has already begun. Big week for my son. Prep football state championship game this week.
Okay.
Wow. All right.
So that's going on. Getting the house ready for Christmas, all those good things.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. How about you, chocolate girl?
Well, my Christmas decorations haven't come out yet, but I do have them ready to come out the closet. So put my Christmas decorations out. It's been an interesting week. I say that almost every Saturday, don't it? It's been interesting. But it's been a good week. Very busy. Just trying to get things taken care of before I'm off work for a few days for the holiday.
That's good. That's good. I had a real good week. Same old, make sure the kids is cool, everybody's all right. But at the same time, that's TK, as y'all know. That's just how I feel. But besides that, like I said, we got a special guest in the building. We got E. Woods in the house. And E. Woods, now, you're from St. Louis, right?
Yes, sir.
From St. Louis, basketball player from St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
What's that like, playing basketball, St. Louis? How was that journey?
Growing up, I played a lot of sports. I played every sport really, and then I gravitated toward basketball as a late my junior year in high school, and then into my senior year. And I really got a break just by playing against, some of the best guys in the city during my era. That would be former Sixer Larry Hughes. He was in my class. Jason Tatum's father. He was in my class. And then those guys were the headliners. But, in my class of guys that are prominent in my area, I want to say about 10 to 12 of us went to Division I schools. And then the big part about that was we played on a travel basketball team all together. So we played against each other in high school at different high schools, but in the summertime, we came together and played on one team called the St. Louis Eagles, which is now Bradley Bill Elite. And on that squad, we had all those guys I just mentioned, plus myself and, about 7 or 8 other Division I guys. And we won the high school national championship for AAU in 96, 97, that summer.
Okay.
So that's in the record books. You want to go look that up. St. Louis Eagles led by Larry Hughes and Justin Tatum. I'll send you some clippers on that right there.
Now, so what high school did you go to? What's the name of that?
The name of my high school was Hazelwood East, and my high school was really a football school. So I'm gonna drop some more names on you here. From my football school, we had guys that came before me were Bernard Whittington played for the Colts.
Okay.
Terrell Fletcher played for the San Diego Chargers for years. But then in my era, in my class, actually, I had Reggie Germany that played for Ohio State, played for the Buffalo Bills. I had Jamar Fletcher, who played for the Dolphins, and then the Cincinnati Bengals. Brian Fletcher, Terrell Fletcher's brother, played with the Colts, and Peyton Manning those years with Marvin Harrison and those guys. He was the tight end.
Right.
So Reggie, Brian, Jamar, and there was one other, I can't call it right now, but those guys are in my class on my teams. So I played basketball with 3 NFL guys also. So at Hazelwood East, man, he a powerhouse in St. Louis. You can look that up too. That's in the books.
So, okay. So now it's your senior year.
Mm-hmm.
And at this time, y'all did mail-in offers.
Yeah.
So you got offers.
Yep.
So what were some of the offers you can remember at the time?
Oh man. Creighton, Bradley, Texas State, St. Louis was one of them. Creighton, Wichita State, St. Joe's is really one of the schools from the East Coast that recruited me. So out of all my offers, St. Joe's was really the only school that was up in the East Coast, and I had never been up here before. So when I came on my visit, man, I was like, wow, Philadelphia, I'm staying here, right? So I committed to St. Joe's on my visit, and haven't looked back since. Yeah.
Wow.
On a visit?
On a visit. Hey, look, the coach took me down to South Street, had the cheesesteak and some pizza, man. I was hooked.
Gotta be the food. Gotta be the food.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
On a visit. Now, because that's crazy that you came from St. Louis to Philly.
That's
and
far.
That's crazy. But when you got to Philly, and I guess they told you was getting playing time, you was gonna be the man. But you got there, and y'all got on the team. What was it like those first couple of years?
So my my first year, man, they threw me right into the fire. And really, to be honest, man, I really had no historical recollection of what Philly basketball was, what the Big Five was, the intensity of which, the that the fans rooted for their teams. I had no clue.
Mhm.
I also didn't have a clue about what the level of competition would be like, right? So my first year, like I said, they threw me right into the fire, and I had to really hold my own. And I was able to hold my own because I was a good athlete and I was a good defender, right? So I started as a freshman right out the gate. I started all season. Um, and we kind of we kind of struggled to find who we were those first couple years. I came into a team that was senior laden, had a lot of seniors on the squad, and then my sophomore year, we were really young, sophomore, junior year.
What year is that?
So 97, 98 was my freshman year.
Okay.
Okay. So I came into a team with Rasheed Bey. Remember Rasheed Bey?
Right.
A little point guard from South Philly. Great player. One of St. Joe's best players of all time. He was my freshman point guard. He was my senior point guard that year.
He's one of St. Joe's best players. Or he's one of them, though? Like out of the five?
Out of what?
Out of five, you would say he's one of them out of five? Rasheed Bey?
Top five St. Joe's all time?
I mean, this is what you saying.
He probably top 10.
Okay.
Top 10. I wouldn't say top five. He probably top 10 because we had a lot of pros come behind him after that. So he top 10. But yeah, man. So freshman, sophomore, junior year, kind of rocky, and then we finally hit and got to the NCAA tournament my senior year, which was a great experience. And during that year, I really found my leadership where I was able to lead a group of guys just based on my work ethic, based on my competitiveness, based on just my love for everybody and team. And I was really able to lead us in those times, and we had a good mix of young and old guys, right? So my senior year was Jameer Nelson's freshman year. So I was able to share with him, all the things that we struggled through those first 3 years before he arrived. And I was really able to help, him, focus and help him lead us really on the floor, because he was a man child coming in as a freshman. He really killed it. So he really led us a long way from a production standpoint. So I would say that my career was a good ride, man. I had a lot of experiences, traveling, playing basketball. We took a trip to Italy my sophomore year. We were in Italy for 10 days on a tour, playing pro teams over there. And just a lot of other experiences, man, that a student athlete, got to enjoy. You know what I mean?
Okay. Now your senior year, that's when y'all went to the tournament, right?
Yeah. So that year,
Robert O'Connor.
Yeah, man. Yeah. He came in.
As they say.
Yeah, yes, sir. He came in and did his thing. He had a great season that 2000-2001 year. We were the best team in Atlantic 10, but we lost in the Atlantic 10 tournament. We didn't win that championship, but we ended up being the 8th seed in the NCAA tournament. Got into the West bracket, played against Georgia Tech round 1, beat Georgia Tech, so we made it to the round of 32, and we lost to Stanford, which was the number 1 seed that year overall. So we were in a tough bracket, but
especially at that time they had the best shooting guard.
Yeah, they had Casey Jacobson.
Yeah.
Then they had the Collins twins, the big twins.
Yeah.
They were a tough squad, man, but we were tied with them 80-80 with a minute left, Dennis.
I know. I watched the game.
Yeah.
I know you it's kind of crazy because as you were in college, I'm in high school, and it's like, yo, we gotta watch Marvin O'Connor. And I'm like, all right, well, let's watch. So we watching the game, we rooting it. That's when he scored. I think he scored like so many points in a minute. Like he really like went off because his first half he was like shaky, and I was like, man, I don't know if he gonna do it. Like because I was like, I don't know if he gonna do it. But the second half he came out and he was like, I was like, oh,
yeah. So that minute game was against LaSalle, and I forget the total number, but against Stanford in the tournament he had 37 overall. But you know, if we could have pulled that off, man, that 37 will still be talked about in greater light today. But and we can pull it out. But that game against LaSalle, I think it was like 18 points in a minute. He was on fire for that minute, man. We were trying to come back. That's why he scored so many points in that row. Because I think we were down trying to come back, and he just started hitting three after three after three.
Man, that's back when LaSalle was actually a good team.
Yo, man, LaSalle was tough. They had Donnie, Vince, what was Vince's name? No, Victor Thomas.
Right.
Sewell Butler.
They
were tough.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Sewell, Bip Bop. Yeah, so they were tough.
Definitely was tough. Now, you graduate.
Mm-hmm.
Graduate St. Joe's. What was the thoughts after the graduation?
Oh man. After graduation, man, you know, which is great. I'm in my job right now, man, because I needed somebody like me back then. Because I graduated and really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I worked in basketball marketing for a couple of years at AN1 Basketball. Remember AN1?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I worked on a mixtape tour, and I was traveling around doing the mixtape tour, doing the player relations thing with all the mixtape players, and I was also doing some stuff with our NBA guys. So I did that for about 2 years, and then, you know, being around basketball on that side and doing some training and things like that, I really felt like my calling was going into education and being a coach. So I started the process of becoming a teacher and becoming a coach. And my first coaching job was at Penwood High School, where my guy Rap Curry, I was there with him for a year. I think it was 04 to 05. And then after that, my next stop was at and I coached at Imhotep for 2 years.
Okay, that's back when it was Imhotep with the trailers.
Trailer life, bro.
Yeah, I remember.
Life. So I was a health and PE teacher there, and helping Brother Andre get that program off the ground. So a lot of people don't know, man. I was one of Brother Andre's first assistant coaches.
I had no idea.
Yeah, helped him build that thing up, man, and show him how to really do this thing. I tell him all the time, man, if it wasn't for me being there, man, you wouldn't be nothing right now.
Yeah, he got like 8 or 9 championships or something like that.
Man, he really is doing this thing. I'm really proud of Brother Andre, man.
Yeah, I'm proud of him too, man.
Because I know where it came from, but I know our conversations in the beginning, man, and he always had that vision.
Yeah.
Always had the vision. He said, man, all I need to win is a couple state titles and they're gonna build me a gym. I was like, man, you crazy. They ain't gonna build no gym. Man, he did it.
Wow.
Yeah.
He did it. He really did.
Yeah.
I got to that school, it was like 2009.
Yeah.
I was there 2009 in the kitchen as well.
Oh, okay.
Brand new school here. I'm like, but they was like, no, we used to be in trailers. It's like,
yeah.
Trailers?
Yeah.
Like, we used to be in trailers. And they still got the parking lot across the street where they used to have trailers. They still got the parking lot there.
Yeah, man. The trailer footprint's still there, man. They ain't gonna never get rid of that, man. That's history over there.
I was just there this summer to see Justin Evans, number 3 player in the country.
Dennis, I'm gonna tell you, listen, the The next time you drive by Imhotep and you look at the trailer land, right? Look at that basketball court that's out there. That's where we used to.
I've seen the basketball court out there.
That was our practice court.
That's crazy.
Outside.
That's crazy.
Outside.
Outside.
Real
Cold as ice
talk.
out there.
Real talk. So when you say get out the mud, Brother Andre got it out the mud.
Not the mud.
Yeah.
We're gonna have him on the show.
Yeah, you gotta have him, man, because his story is incredible. Incredible.
Man. But you was at Imhotep. What happened after you left Imhotep?
So after Imhotep, I went to Widener University. I coached at Widener for 2 years with Dave Duda and Chris Carrillo. Chris Carrillo is still the coach there now. Dave Duda has since left. He left Widener, went to go coach at St. Joe's, and I think he coached at St. Joe's for about 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
So I coached at Widener for 2 years, and while I was at Widener, I was an admissions counselor during the whole high school recruiting thing for regular students, not basketball players, but I used to go out, do high school college fairs and do that type of thing, and do high school visits and, talk to kids about what it takes to become a Widener student. And my territory then was they used to send me, my African-American self, up to Scranton and East Stroudsburg to go recruit students.
Wow.
Yeah, they had me on the road way up there, way up there. Nobody looked like me, but I'm able to navigate anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That is wild. That is
Yeah.
wild. So when did you become, the basketball coach you was in?
The basketball, what'd you say?
When did you become the basketball coach? After you left Widener?
So the whole time I was coaching. What do you mean the basketball coach? I was coaching all the time.
Right, but you kept moving. Like, because at one point you was at Roman.
Oh, and so I coached at so many stops, man. So let me break it down for you. So Widener to Apex Academy, which was in Jersey. And then after Apex, I went to go coach at Delaware County Christian.
Okay. After
Delco Christian, I stopped coaching for a little while, and I did my player development thing, which is called Excel Basketball, which I still do to this day, where I train small groups, individuals. I do clinics, I do camps. So I stopped and did that for a while, and then, if I'm not mistaken, after Delco Christian, I went to go coach at Bayard Rustin, which is in Westchester. That's the newest high school in Westchester, which has been open about 12 years now at this point. I coached there for a year. Where did I go after Rustin? Can't remember after Rustin, but eventually I wound up at Roman, and I coached at Roman for 3 years.
And you got to coach I think you had the #1 player in the country at one point.
Yeah, so my second year at Roman, I had Jalen Duran, Justice Williams, who's at LSU. So Jalen plays for the Pistons right now.
All right.
Justice plays for LSU, and they were on the team with Lynn Greer, Seth Lundy, Hakeem Hart. Seth is at Penn State. Hakeem Hart is at Maryland. So I had all those guys on one team.
Where did Lynn Greer go?
Lynn Greer, he at St. Joe's right now.
Oh, you got him with you.
Yeah, he went to Dayton first. He transferred back here last year.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So that's been my coaching journey. Oh, I can't leave out. I last stopped last year. I was at I'm tripping. Cristo Rey.
Okay.
17th and Allegheny, grade school. That's one of the most beautifulest campuses I've been on inside the city.
17th.
Yeah, they've carved out a little campus at 17th and Allegheny. It's beautiful. A nice athletic field outside, a great athletic facility inside, beautiful school classrooms. Oh man, beautiful. It's a hidden gem in our city as far as a facility and a campus.
Okay.
Cristo Rey. Beautiful.
Crystal Rey. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Well, what you playing basketball in Philly?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was that like? Because I know you was hitting the courts outside, and getting to meet those Philly basketball players.
Yeah. So you of course I had a competition, playing in the Big Five against some Philly guys, but my real introduction to Philly basketball as a whole was playing Sunny Hill down in Temple at the old McGonigal Hall. Not Leah Chorus, but the old McGonigal.
Right.
Where they had the patio out front where all the old men used to sit out, sell cakes and sell platters.
Right.
So that was my real introduction to Philly basketball. And that was an experience, man, because how that worked is, there were coaches who selected kids from each team in the team around the city. And
Right.
go down and play on your coach's team. So I could play, my team could have a guy from LaSalle, a guy from Penn, a guy from Westchester, a guy from Drexel, a guy from LaSalle, guy from Temple, D2 schools around the area, everywhere, right? So we play against each other in the Sunny Hill League. And the Philly people don't need no other description besides Sunny Hill League.
No.
No.
I already know what you're talking about.
So everybody know what that is. And now the next introduction, now I never had a chance to play in this, but I would always go watch because a friend of mine on the team, Andre Howard, was an Overbrook alum. He lived in North Philly, right? He would always take me down in the summertime, down to 16th and Susquehanna.
Yeah.
Man, now back in the late 90s, bro, talk about a real basketball playground atmosphere. It was crazy. It was crazy. I know you know this name, Sad Eye.
Sad. I never seen him play. Probably walked past him a bunch of times.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, man. I was able to get on hitting that scene. I never got a chance to play it on there, man, but it was a great experience getting down there. So Philly basketball was definitely something I got to experience inside and out.
So who gave you the introduction? What player got you with the introduction in Philly basketball? What player actually came to you and gave you some I would have to say some smoke?
Yo, listen. I'm gonna tell you who it was, right? So two people. Yah Davis, Arthur Davis.
Right.
He was St. Joe's guy, but he didn't, but he never finished at St. Joe's. He was my first real introduction to guarding Philly guard in St. Joe's gym. Gave me a little bit of smoke as a young pup. But then in game, a real official game under the whistle, Catino Mobley was that guy for me. He played at Rhode Island at the time. And not that he really, scored a lot of points on me. It was just the way he went about how he played the game. Real crafty, dirty in a crafty way, but not dirty, disrespectful, just dirty in a strategic way. You know what I mean?
Like he would pull your jersey and stuff like that, and
how he know how to hold me while he's on offense and hold me off and get to his spot. Or wrap his arm in my arm and get a foul call. Like that type of stuff. He know how to catch and pivot real well. So that was all the stuff that I'm pretty sure helped him be a pro for or as long as he played. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a very crafty guy. But I called him when he was a senior, man. And I was a freshman, so he gave me the business a little bit.
Was the game in Philly?
Yeah. We
So
actually
you had the whole family out there. Oh man.
we actually beat them at St. Joe's my freshman year, and we lost to them up there.
Okay. Yeah, that ain't bad.
Down here, my claim to fame was I held them to 11 points down here. Held them to 11.
Now I know you was now because I worked with you, so I know that you was telling me that you would see Kobe practicing over on the side,
Yeah.
but you never played against him or nothing. But you always seen him
Yeah,
practicing doing his thing.
Yeah, I talked to him a few times, man. Bumped into him in the weight room a couple times. That's good experience to talk to him and introduce myself. And the biggest thing was being able to watch him work. I think that was the biggest thing that stuck with me, just watching him work,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I wanted to also wanted to know. So who would you say? I want to know your top 5 from St. Louis. First.
Top 5 where?
Top 5 ball players from St. Louis.
Top ball players from St. Joe's or St. Louis?
No, St. Louis. St. Louis.
Top 5 from St. Louis. All right. So Larry Hughes.
Okay.
That's one. Wait, hold on. Justin Tatum first, right?
Justin Tatum was better than Larry Hughes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You seen Larry Hughes' pro career. You seen Justin. You seen Jason career.
I'm just saying this is your list. This is your opinion. That's all I'm just saying that.
So
it's Justin Tatum.
No.
Larry Hughes.
No. Jason Tatum.
Oh, Jason Tatum. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying his dad was better than Larry.
Jason Tatum. Brad Bill.
Okay.
Larry Hughes. Anthony Bonner. Remember Anthony Bonner played for the Knicks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He from St. Louis. And then I'm gonna go.
Is Darius Miles from St. Louis?
Darius Miles was from East St. Louis, so it's like
y'all don't count him.
So look, East St. Louis is Camden.
Okay, so that's like East Philly. Okay.
Yeah, right. So it's in Illinois and Camden,
Right.
New Jersey.
It's not in Missouri.
Right. It's not in Missouri, but it's East St. Louis. So
right.
Just like y'all don't claim Camden, we don't really claim them either.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but D Miles, he definitely part of the landscape of St. Louis basketball. Like he grew up playing against all us, right? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But we ain't claiming he's not getting on this list. And then I'm gonna say my number 5. I'm gonna go Chris Carrawell. Chris Carrawell played at Duke.
I was about to say that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he a Duke assistant coach right now. Chris Carrawell.
Okay.
Chris Carrawell had a great career at Duke. Nice, solid player. Never was a pro, but he had a solid college career, and he is an assistant coach now with Duke. Yeah. But he was really one of the first guys that kind of led that superstar high school dude in St. Louis, right? He was Mr. Everything.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna let Chocolate Girl take over. I want you to think about your top 5 Philly guys. I'm gonna come back to that for you. All right. I'm gonna let Chocolate Girl take over.
All right. No problem.
I mainly want to ask you about your program. That's
Okay.
the most interesting thing to me.
Okay.
So most of my questions are going to deal with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But raise your bar.
Yes.
Raise your bar. I see you smile when I say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that name, first of all?
So I was thinking about what I wanted to call it because of what I wanted to give, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want young student athletes to be better than what they are.
Mm.
So, you know, and thinking about that, I also wanted to be creative with the name and have the name have meaning to the message, right?
Right.
So I was just sitting down, sketching out names and playing around with stuff in my head. And then I saw somebody that had a logo with some arrows. How you know in the Army, you have the stripes that look like arrows that go up. You have
Mm-hmm.
the rank stripes,
Mm-hmm.
and they're positioned in an arrow that's kind
Right.
of going up.
Mm-hmm.
But this person had the arrows going down. So I was like, wow, that's cool. Let me flip those and point them up. So that was like raise. And then the general phrase raise the bar came to mind, right? But that's a phrase that a lot of people use.
Right.
Raise the bar.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm like, no, that's the phrase everybody uses. How can I make it personal? And then it just clicked, raise your bar, because your bar is different from my bar.
Right.
And my bar can't be your bar.
Mm-mm.
Right? You have to set your own standard.
That's right.
And if you don't have your own bar and my standard is here and I want you to be where I am, you'll never reach your potential.
Gotcha.
Because you're always measuring yourself up to my bar and my expectations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your expectations should exceed anybody else's expectations for you and never match anybody. So that's kind of where I came up with the name, Raise Your Bar.
Now you said you wanted young athletes to be better. Mm-hmm. In what way? What kind of things were you seeing that motivated you to take action, to do something to help them?
Yep. So the first piece was academic success.
Mm-hmm.
So in our community, young student athletes don't really understand what it means to put that student before athlete. Mm-hmm. And I just thought if I could help them with tools to be better in the classroom, I feel like when they have the tools, now they feel like they can do better because they have some tools. So I wanted to create a message that had tools for them to be better students, not just say, hey, you got to be a better student. Hey, you got to make better grades. But I'm actually going to give them, okay, here's a couple of things that you need to do to ensure that you are a great student. All right. The first thing, you need to have great relationships with the people in your school building, the teachers, the administrators, so they know you are invested in your schoolwork. Second thing is you need to create good study habits. All right. Here's what good study habits look like. All right. Then you need to get a routine and a plan that helps you study, right? You can't approach your schoolwork at the last minute. You have to do a little bit at a time. And if you want to do good on a test and your test is next Monday, you can't start studying next Sunday night. You have to start studying today. Right. And do a little bit every day leading up to that test. So it's just general tools that they can understand and apply, right? That's the big thing.
Okay.
The next thing was around leadership. You know, athletes, especially in our community, in the African-American community, you know, athletes are looked up to, right? And I really feel that as a student athlete, if you really want to focus on being a leader in a positive way, you can create change in your community, in your school, on your team. But again, there's tools that you need to apply to that leadership mentality that help you get to that point. Then I talked to them about the importance of strength and conditioning, how to make their body the best it can be. Because a lot of young athletes think that they can just play the game and not worry about their body. But if your body's not right, you can't play your game. If you're not strong, you can't compete. So I give them tools in that area. And then we talk about what it takes to develop your skills. Because again, a lot of them think they can just show up and play. But you know, every sport has a skill that you need to master. And the more you master that skill, the more comfortable you are and the more confident you are playing that sport. And like, it's, again, something that a lot of them don't understand until it's, you know, it's too late, and then their window to be successful has passed them by. And then the last piece, which I just added recently, is a social media responsibility piece, where it teaches them what responsible social media use is and how to brand yourself in the best way possible. Because nowadays athletes have a lot of opportunity to monetize who they are just through social media, just through brands wanting to partner with them to endorse their products on social media. So there's a way for student athletes to, you know, build great reputations online and do it in the right way. Also, who they are on social media has a chance to influence others as well. So just like being a leader in real life, they can show leadership on social media also by, you know, Xing out the cyberbullying, stepping into social media disputes, and being somebody who can resolve conflict just by who they are.
Okay. Now, as part of that social media responsibility, do you also talk to them about not only what they should use it for, but also what not to do on social media? Because I tell you, that's a really, really big problem. Some of these young students are just going on social media and posting all kinds of things. That they really should not be posting.
So that's really the first part about the social media responsibility piece. I don't really talk to them about what they should do. I talk to them about the don'ts first, right? Because who you are on social media really goes a lot further. Because if I'm a coach that's recruiting you and I see, Erick Woods scored 25 points today. He scored 25 points yesterday. He scored 30 points last week. Let me go check out Erick Woods' social media. Oh man, look at Erick Woods. He's drinking beers. He's smoking weed. He got girls in his pictures. Like, all that type of stuff, you know, could come back to haunt me. Or if they're on social media using profanity and some videos, like all that type of stuff comes back. And that's the first thing that these college recruiters go look at is your social media nowadays.
Yes. That's absolutely true. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's good that you added that component.
Yep.
Because that shows that you're really paying attention to what's going on and you're able to pivot when you need to.
Yeah.
That's good. So in this programming, is it a 1 day, 1 time workshop event, or is this something that provides ongoing interaction with the student athletes?
Yep. So right now it's just a 1 day event where I go in and do like a motivational speech, touching on all those points I just shared. But what I hope to do is partner with more schools and hopefully districts and give them a chance to, you know, bring me in and do ongoing mentorship and leadership development
Mm.
inside their schools. So I'm working with Methacton High School, and I just signed a contract last month, and I'm going to be going to Methacton on 3 visits. The first visit is going to be a large group talk where I'm going to give the Raise Your Bar message, but on the next 2 occasions, I'm going to come back and talk to a small cohort of student leaders and really dig into, all right, how can you guys be leaders here in this school? What can you put in place right now to help you guys be positive role models, social justice, engines, and really give them things to make their school community great. So that's kind of the pilot for what I want to do on a larger scale. So thank you for asking that question. That's definitely the target. That's definitely the goal.
Good. I mean, because I'm sitting here talking to you, and my brain is just going in all kinds of direction because this is so exciting. And I'm sure, like you said earlier, you wish you had somebody like you in your life when you were making the transition.
Yeah, definitely.
When you're dealing with students, I know you get questions all the time. And when you do these talks and you open up for questions, what's the main questions that they're asking you after you've done your talk?
The main question that kids ask is, what's college like?
Mm.
What's college like? How'd you get to your college?
Mm.
So kids are very interested in what college is like and the journey it took to get there.
Got it. Okay.
So it really just tells me that kids need to be exposed to that college life, that college experience early on, so they can begin to start to see themselves there. Right. So I try to paint the picture as clear as I can and start it from an academic standpoint that, your academic ability will open doors for you way before your athletic ability. That's kind of the mantra that I share with them. So I kind of bring it back to academics and let them know that you can't, yes, I could play basketball really well, but if I didn't have grades, I wouldn't have even had a chance. So just answering those questions up front, but definitely the college question is the most asked. Yeah.
And see, this is every generation of kids. You always have some kids that don't see the importance of the education,
right?
Especially when they are athletically gifted, and they assume that I can't make more money just because I get a college degree. I can make more money if I get this good playing basketball. So this is what I want to focus on. I don't need to focus on my schoolwork. Right. I want to focus on ball. That's what I want to focus on. And so if you run across a kid like that, what is your reaction to him? And how do you choose your words carefully enough to not be combative, but to help him see the light, and so to speak?
That's a great question, and it's a great point that you make. Choosing the words carefully, because it's not so much that you don't want to be combative. You don't want to crush his hopes and dreams.
That too, yeah.
If that's what he's aspiring to, because there are stories. Well, the NBA is a destination, and the NFL is a destination, but it's not promised. So that's what I want to get across. Yes, you could be great, but it's not promised to you. So, how are you going to use your ability as an athlete to get all you can out of your athletic ability? And the only way to do so is if you get your academics correct and you get an education. And if you get an education, that those doors that open up for you as an athlete will be even wider once you take advantage of that education.
Yeah.
So if you are an educated athlete, now the world is yours. Because all you have to do, not all you have, like, it's not that easy, but really all you have to do is use your athletic ability, get that scholarship, get on campus, take your academics serious, make great relationships, set a plan in place for what you want to do after you graduate, and sky's the limit.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And what they don't realize is even if their athletic ability gets them a scholarship and they go to school, right? The relationships that they make in school can help them later on. Let's say they do make it to the NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, wherever they go. Afterwards, I mean, Father Time is undefeated. So eventually they're going to have to retire.
That ball going to stop.
And what are they going to do?
Yeah.
Right. But if you've built these good relationships, which could have started, back in high school or college, either one, that helps you know and decide and be able to make that transition a lot more easily.
Absolutely.
Because you can, I can count the number of professional athletes after they retire. You never hear anything about them again, never see them, you don't hear about them. And then one day there'll be some article on this obscure player, and he's down and out, or she's down and out, and all of that. And you don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
Now, you want to do everything you can to avoid being in that situation, is what I'm saying.
Yep.
And so reaching students, though, to help them see this is difficult sometimes, especially with all this stimulation going on out here, all this media, video games, music, the trap, all of that. I mean,
it's crazy.
It's difficult to compete as an adult. How do you get them to listen to you? And you can tell when they're not listening. Even when a school books you and you're standing there talking, you can tell when students are listening to you and paying attention, and those who are not. But how do you get them to listen to me? I'm an old man, Now, I'm not saying that you're old, but compared to them, you're ancient.
So to be honest, when I go in, these schools I go into really different. Like I've been into predominantly white schools, and I've been into predominantly Black schools. And I think me personally being able to change my demeanor in both settings helps me navigate both audiences. Right. So I'm just talk and I'm gonna just talk about us, right? In schools, when I go to, in schools that I go to that are our schools, I have to go back into my dean, assistant principal role first, and set the ground rules.
Got you.
My voice is it. If you can't sit and be quiet, we gonna remove you. Right. But then my big thing I like to use is this right here. I'm gonna lay it out for you. I start with this. I say, raise your hand if you want to be successful.
Everybody putting their hands up.
Right, of course, all the hands go up. Right. And I say, all right, great. But I'm gonna say the unfortunate thing, guys and girls, the unfortunate thing is there are some of you in this room who are not going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some of you in this room who this message is going to change your life.
It gets their attention now.
Now, which one are you?
Oh, wow. And they sit back and that's when they sit back,
whoa.
right? Just like that.
Oh.
They're like, whoa,
Right. So that's the first part. Then in the second part I say is you can be the one.
Mm-hmm.
You can be the one. You can be the one to do great things in this world.
Mm-hmm.
You can be the one who gets your family out of poverty.
Mm-hmm.
You can be the one who becomes a star.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not the only one who wants that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the only one who wants to get a good career. You're not the only one who wants to be the president of a company.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the only one who wants to be the star on the basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the only one who wants to be a lawyer or a doctor. So what are you going to do to separate yourself from everyone else who wants to be great?
Good question.
And then I'll bring it back to the title. You have to, if you want to separate yourself, you have to raise your bar higher than anybody else. And those two little points of emphasis gets them.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah. And I think you're right. And I think it will separate those that really are not. Yeah. That's very good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because the ones that really are really about what you're talking about, you've captured their attention right there.
Right.
And they'll sit up straight and pay attention, quiet down, no more wrestling the papers and doing no more of that.
Talking, laughing, joking.
Yeah. All that ceases right there, right? But okay, here's a question I have. Looking at what's going on in college sports now. Okay. With branding, the way that they brand, everything is digital now. So everything is fast paced, of course. Yeah. So with branding, the NIL agreements and transfer portals and all that stuff going on in NCAA, what are the core teachings that high school student athletes especially really need to focus on to prepare for navigating such adult business and career decisions?
I think you hit on two of them right away with the business and career. They have to be minded in both those areas. And from a business standpoint, I'm talking about being financially educated on how to manage everything that's going to be coming their way. And again, that's another piece of education that I didn't have. Right. So when I came out and started earning, I didn't understand how to put money here or there and make it work for me. Right. So I think that's number one in the business side of things, right? And two, they got to see themselves as a business, right? Right. They have to go into their college life and see themselves as a business, see themselves as a functioning business, see themselves as a brand. So getting educated around those things when it comes to business. And then I think from the career standpoint, like you mentioned, it's thinking about what career I want to go into as I finish school, right? So as I come into school, I'm really preparing on that career in my life after sports, because you're going to need a career after sports. So business, career, and I think the last piece should be centered around character development. Because if, you know, these young kids come into college and they have some character development, you know, not so much training, but guidance and mentorship, it'll set them on the right track. So character development, career focus, and business minded, if they have those three things as they go into college, they'll be able to navigate not easily, but better than they would have if they didn't have the education.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So I wanted to pivot a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. And I'm going to get your opinion on a couple of things.
All right, let's do
Okay.
it.
So what is your view on college student athletes getting compensated while they play in college?
I personally have been back and forth on this because I was somebody who went to school and did okay and just had the scholarship, right? My scholarship back then was worth $100,000.
Did you starve? Were you starving for food? Did you
No.
like have to go all weekend, couldn't eat? And...
So
I'm just asking.
So people make those stories and make those generalizations, and that really wasn't my experience. And I doubt that there's any other Division I athletes experience. So we had the scholarship, which came with unlimited meal money, right? We got per diem for weekend days when the CAF was closed. So that per diem was like $100 a weekend, and I'm not going to eat $100 worth of food a weekend. So half of that was going toward entertainment, right?
Right, of course.
So that's what had me for so long on the side of, man, we get $100,000 scholarship, we get a free education. That's the money right there. But then, you know, as the whole world started turning and people started monetizing off of social media and a name, image, likeness, and, you know, colleges are really profiting more and more and more off of student athletes, you know, they had to start giving something. So they had to start bending. And it's not even the colleges that are bending now. It's colleges staying out the picture, but allowing student athletes to partner with organizations, companies, businesses,
right,
to be paid. So the NCAA is still not giving up a buck.
No, and the universities aren't either.
No,
and that's fine.
No,
that's fine with me. That's fine with me. I wasn't a student athlete when I was in college.
Yeah.
I went to a Big Ten school. I stayed in the athletic dorms. Everybody around me was on scholarship. I saw what they got.
Right.
And none of them was starving. None of them. Okay.
Nobody starved. So,
but so so some people have said that they have concerns that the idea of compensating student athletes who are amateurs really, and while they're in college, this is going to lead to the commercialization to even high school sports. That, you know, like, where does it end? Okay, so we're going from the professional ranks, and now we're striking NIL deals with college athletes. Okay, we're gonna do this for a while. Next thing you know, high school athletes are gonna start doing that.
Yeah.
Right? Do you see that could happen? Or is that a legitimate concern? Or do you think, nah, that's not really gonna go in that direction?
No, it already happened. It's a done deal. The high school athletes are being compensated already from outside organizations. So
I was reading about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't think we can stop it. Just think we have to do what we talked about earlier, and just educate kids on how to do it the right way. And parents and support, systems need to be in place to make sure it's done the right way.
Now, a lot of these kids do not have that. So that's a real concern. Dennis and I have had this conversation so many times. In fact, the first time I met Dennis, he had me on his sports podcast to talk about that subject.
Okay.
Myself and one of my other friends,
okay,
who love sports too. And both she and I are on the same page. And I'm on this podcast with this room full of men who are all telling us that we were crazy and that they should be paid. And so I'm like, okay. And I mentioned the fact, where does it end? It's going to go spill down to the high school students. And then who's going to be playing for the love of the game anymore? Who? How are they going to play for the love of the game when they have parents that see dollar signs and it's now acceptable in high school to strike deals with my 15-year-old? They can't sign a contract because they're not an adult. I have to sign for them. We got that. But it's okay for him to, we're worried. We're so busy worried about the deal. They can't even just enjoy being a kid and playing a sport. So by the time they get to college, it's really all about the money. And then how are you going to convince them you still are a student athlete first? You're a student athlete. You need to get that education. That takes a back seat. If I've been getting money since I was 14 and 15 years old, listen to you.
Yeah. I think the message and the effort still has to be clear and centered around what's next.
Mhm.
Because what if this all stops today?
True.
What happens when you're done and your career is over with? That has to be the message, that the constant, in their face, idea for what their life is going to be once they're done. And they need to continue to prepare as if they don't have that NIL deal money coming and work toward that career.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
I hope they listen to you. I hope you can get in front of as many of these students as you can, and that you help them see that. I have my last question. Let me see. In general, for youth sports, what kind of changes do you think would you like to see in youth sports in general? Not only through the school districts, but also just community sports groups.
In competition, you mean?
Competition, rec leagues.
What changes, man?
YMCA.
Yeah.
Boy Scouts, Pop Warner, anything, AAU, all of it.
AAU.
Yeah, I said AAU.
If I were to implement a change into sports, I would implement a pay-to-play system for the kids. And by pay-to-play, I mean paying through your time into another developmental area of your life, right? Mm-hmm. So in order for you to play AAU or for you to play Pop Warner, you got to be involved in this career education class.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about all the careers in tech, all the careers in engineering, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or you got to be involved in this math enrichment program, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would have all of our leagues implement some type of educational or career enrichment type of messaging in order for kids to play. And they have to complete this. right? So schools could partner with leads could partner with school districts. They could partner with local tutoring agencies, like anybody who could give your athletes and your program some enrichment. That's what they need. And that's what I would change about youth sports.
Good. I agree with that.
Just give them something different.
So when you start it, just make sure I'm on the team, because I agree with that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I agree with that. Most definitely. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Because they practice 5 days a week. Why not dedicate one day to that enrichment?
Yeah. Enrichment and giving back to your community.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Have some type of community service component to it.
That's a good
Not
thing
as
to
much
do.
as the enrichment, though. The enrichment needs to be first.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
pay to
Besides
play.
the skill. Mm-hmm.
You pay to play through enrichment and community service.
Mm-hmm. That'd be good. All right, Mr. Dennis. Well, thank you. Those are good answers. Dennis, I throw that back to you, sir.
That wasn't that bad. While you're still here,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I did say to you that day is I think it's going to get worse. I think it's going to go all the way down to Little League.
Oh, it is.
That's what I was saying to you.
It is.
Because
It's
there's
gonna
a
go
lot
all
of
the way
parents.
down to the 9-year-olds.
Yeah, well, I think 6 years. I think it'll be that far down. But there's a lot of parents. They spend a lot of their time developing their kids to play these sports because they're trying to live their sports life through their kids. And
Well,
that's where
exactly.
that's where I see it doing
Have
out of
you seen the 6-year-old twin brothers, and then they have a third brother? It's a set of twins. I think they're 6, 7, 8 years old. It's a set of twins, and they have a brother, and they're playing basketball. And they play like grown men. I can't remember how young they are. They may not be as young as 6. They might be middle schoolers.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've actually seen it. I came across this page on IG.
Okay.
Okay, I'm looking at IG, and this reel came up showing these twin brothers playing basketball. And then in the piece, the story, they also profiled their little brother, who was like a year or so younger.
Got it.
And they all playing like, going hard to the basket like grown. And these are little boys. And I'm looking at them, and the people in the media and all that stuff. I said, this is what I'm talking about right here. And so they interviewed him. Yeah, I'm so-and-so and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, see, he's gone. Those kids right there, they're gone. They're gone. They're gone. They are stars already. It's over with. So anyway, if I find it, I'll shoot the link. I just cannot remember the name of it. So if I go back in my history, I'll be able to find, which page that I liked, the videos, and which videos I've been watching on IG. I'm sure I can find that. But yeah, I'll make sure I get it to you, Dennis. I'll make sure, because it was so fascinating. I was like, wow, they playing like grown men. Okay.
All right, E Woods, we need that top 5 Philly ballers, man. Top 5 Philly ballers.
Man, top 5. You don't get me in trouble here, man.
I know. That was the point. That was the point to get you in trouble. But I mean, let's just go by the ones that you played against. Man, that make it a little easy.
All right, top 5 I played against.
Yeah.
All right, we can do that easy. We can do that easy. All right. This ain't no order. I'm gonna give you 5. No order here.
No order.
No order. Yeah. All right.
I want the order. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna go Len Greer.
Okay.
Rasul Butler, Donnie Carr, Katino Mobley's in there. That's 4, right?
That's 4.
Mm-hmm.
Sue Butler, Donnie Carr, Len Greer, Katino Mobley. Oh, one more. I'm gonna say Arthur Davis because I played against him, but also played with him. So it's kind of a Arthur Yah Davis.
Okay.
That's not a bad 5 right there, Dan.
It's not a bad 5. It's not a bad 5.
I know
That's
2 out of the 5. I know 2 of them.
All right.
That's not a bad 5. Not a bad 5. I know some people are gonna be like, that's all he played against.
Right.
Listen, he played with Jameer, Marv, and Delonte, but played against other people. But now through this time you was being a coach and you was going through your journey, how did you get your radio show with your co-host? I just had his name. God damn. What's your co-host name?
Now I don't have a coach, but I was on this show. I did my first show with Del Greco Wilson.
Right. Well, Wilson and Woods.
Yeah, Wilson and Woods. And that led to my next show. But the first show came about because I was introduced to a guy by the name of Malik Boyd. And Malik had me on his show on the same station that I was on.
ESPN 610?
No, so he was on 860 AM. But back when I did the first show, it was also connected to 610 ESPN. So after he had me on his show, he was like, man, the producers have been talking to me a lot about a sports show. So I sat on it for a little while, and I never saw myself being on radio, right? But the more I thought about it, I was like, man, Del Greco could be somebody who I could bring on to have a show. Mm-hmm. So I pitched the idea to them, and they were like, yeah, let's call it Wilson and Woods. I'm like, whoa, I don't want to be on there. I just want to give Del the show. They were like, no, it sounds good. Plus you're knowledgeable about sports. You're in the world. You would have good insight. And plus Del, he's like a controversial person. You could be there and I kind of calm down the room a little bit. So I thought about it for a while, like, and I finally was like, all right, I'll do it. So we did that for about, I want to say about 4 or 5 months, and then the pandemic hit.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Then we had to end it because we had, it was all funded through sponsors, and our sponsors couldn't really pay no more because, pandemic times.
Yeah.
Money was tight. So we had to cut it. So back, when did I start the show again? So back this past August, I called the producer up and I was like, you think we get Wilson and Woods back? They were like, no, we can't do Wilson and Woods, but we want you to do a show by yourself. And hold on one second.
Okay. Wilson and Woods. That ain't that bad though. Be back with y'all in a second. Here you go.
Yeah, so back in August, they were like, we want to come back and do a show. And at the time, it didn't really ring a bell about what I could do. So I sat on that for a second. And then it finally rung a bell. I was like, man, I could do a Raise Your Bar radio show, right? Because I had the Raise Your Bar student athlete message was in my mind. I had been to a couple of schools and I was like, man, I could turn this into content on the radio. So I called back the producer or the manager rather. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And here's the format. He was like, no, let's call the Erick Woods show. I'm like, no, I don't want it to be the Erick Woods show. That's corny. Like, there are shows out there with people's name, but again, I didn't want it to be about me. I wanted it to be about the message, right?
Yeah, but they know your history, your background. Like you got a lot of good things going for you, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you just told us this story, and we just getting a 1 hour snippet of it. Like you got more stories to go with this. I work with you. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've seen you. You know what I mean? Do your thing.
And that's what the manager said. And the manager was like, man, you're selling who you are, all your experiences. But I was like, no. Let's just call it Raise Your Bar. So I came up with the show, and the thought was to share some inspiration in the beginning, but give highlight to athletic leaders and to student athletes who are on the rise too, to give people a chance to come and tell their stories about who they are, how they got where they are, what's made them great, and how they found success. You know what I mean? And that's the thought behind the show. Is to encourage, motivate, and inspire student athletes and athletic leaders to be great, and also give those same people a chance to come on the show and tell their story and how they reached heights they've gotten to.
That's good. That's definitely good. Now, so you went through that. You got the show.
Yep.
When you got the show, when do you start your new season?
We are in talks now, but I'm really trying to find a new platform. But we are in talks now.
So you don't. So the producers that you was talking to, you don't want to do it with them.
It costs a lot of money then to be on there, and the sponsorship is slow.
Oh yeah, I know.
Slow. So
you got to pay on the studio. But when we get offline, you'll tell me exactly what it
is. Yeah. So I'm on the fence, right? I like the setup because it's with a radio station. It's affiliated. I have a website. They have me on the website. I have my own page on the website. So I like that aspect of it because it's easily accessible. But I could honestly do the same thing and create Spotify and iTunes accounts and Apple Podcast account and do my own some way, somehow. You know what I mean?
I can help you with that. That ain't a problem. It's not a problem, man. I can help you with that. That's not a problem.
Yeah, so
you just want to find a way to raise the bar, keep. So will you're gonna interview some young athletes and some old ones too, like to kind of like give it a mixture to let people know what the journey that some other people been through.
Yep.
And help people on the journey that they're going through.
Yep. So that's the idea. So I did 15 shows, and out of the 15 shows, I had college and high school athletes on there, and I had one professional.
Okay.
And then I had coaches, athletic directors, trainers. I had a mental health coach on athletic leader side. So I had a whole spectrum of people on each side.
Nice.
Yeah. Good mix. I really like getting people on to give them a chance to share their story, you know?
There used to be a guy that you used to walk around the track with. You had to walk around the track. Because I've been following you for a long time.
Yo, that's so that's Keith Hines. I talked to him last night, and you had tuned into that a couple of times. We did that.
Yeah, I was paying attention to all that, man.
So that's my man, Keith Hines. So he's If you know St. Joe's track, there's a hawk walk up top.
Right.
So we would walk around the hawk walk and like have a little conversation about the topic, whatever you want to talk about.
Right.
So we talk about the transfer portal, we talk about high school basketball, we talked about a few different topics, but that was fun. He always messed with me too, man. He's like, man, we want to get back on the hawk walk. He was. I'm like, man, listen, I don't know.
I had some good stories on that hawk walk.
Yeah, he did have some good stories on there, man.
Some good stories on that hawk walk, man. I didn't even know he knew that much was going on. You know, you never know what's going on until you actually tune in and listen. And I'm a guy that, you know, and that was definitely right during the pandemic that I was taking that walk.
Right.
And I was a guy that was, you know, I was just all ears, just listening.
Yeah, he's a Philadelphia basketball historian. He's a real gem. He's an old head, and he's a real gem. He got some good stories, man.
Man,
that's my guy. He's actually the first Philly guy I met here because he was a camp counselor when Phil Martelli would do his summer camps. And in the summer, all the players would have to work coach camp. So he was the old head counselor who worked from the city. So, man, he told stories all day long about Philly basketball, all day long. He kept you laughing, kept you entertained, man. He's a good guy.
Man, that's definitely good. I didn't even know it was that many. I didn't know Philly basketball was that big. I knew it was big, but I didn't know it was that big.
Oh man.
Until I got a little older. And then
I had no clue, like I told you.
Yeah, and then Philly boxing is that big as well. It's actually bigger than Philly basketball.
Now that's a whole nother thing I have no clue about.
Yeah, Philly boxing is on another level. Usually, wherever you see in the basketball court, around the corner in a little dark alley, there's a boxing ring, boxing gym. Yeah, the little dark alley around it was usually a boxing gym. And I was like, why they got these boxing gyms in these weird places? But they be in there, they be packed.
Right.
I ain't had no clue about none of this stuff until I became a teenager. Before that, all I wanted to do was play football. That's it. That's all I wanted to do. But I had to play basketball to stay in shape for football, and all my homies played basketball, so I had to play with them.
Had to do it.
Yeah. But besides that, is anything else you want to tell us before we get up out of here?
No, man. I just want to say thank you guys for having me, man. It's been good, man. Now being on the other side of the interview questions, as good. Just thank you guys for giving me a chance to highlight Raise Your Bar. I have some big goals for that. And I really think it can do really good things here in the city just by letting, kids who look like us hear the message of motivation and encouragement centered around athletics and academics, but academics first. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Wait a minute, one more thing I do gotta ask you.
Yeah.
Why is it that you never went back to St. Louis? That's what I always wanted to know. Are you just came and you just felt it? Oh, you got married. Oh, when did you get married?
Man, I've been married for 15 years, bro.
Nice.
And she from Delaware, so locked
in. There you go. Right over the border. Right over.
Locked in. So getting on the plane, going back to St. Louis wasn't a thing.
Wasn't a thing, yeah.
Wasn't a thing.
Did y'all meet in college?
Yep, she went to St. Joe's.
Oh yeah, that's why you wasn't one.
No, it was a wrap.
It was a wrap. Yeah, that's good though. That's definitely good. And, yeah, another thing I wanted to say is your oldest, which I think is your oldest son, about to play football this week for the championship.
Yep.
Yeah, wish him the best on that.
Definitely man. Shout out to St. Joe's Prep. We taking on Harrisburg in the state championship game this week, 7 p.m. up at Cumberland Valley High School. We going for, I think, 8 chips in 10 years. I think we going for.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And I think they probably got like 20 in the last 30 years, something like that.
So it's a big game today. This is gonna air on Saturday. So yeah, so today, St. Joe's Prep taking on Harrisburg tonight, 7 p.m. We're gonna bring back the championship, man. It's my son's senior year, so
So he played with Marv then.
yeah, he played with Marv.
Yeah, well, that's nice. That is nice.
Yeah,
Double graduation to him.
So this is last go around. I'm gonna try to make it happen.
Okay. Chocolate girl, you got any last words?
Hey, it's never too late. Anything that you want to do, it's never too late. Every day you wake up is another day to get it right. So whatever it is you want to do, whatever you may have failed in the past or whatever, just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, start all over again, and keep it moving. And I also want to say thank you, Mr. Woods, for coming on the show. Very entertaining, very informative.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
And very inspiring too. So I like what you're doing. Keep up that good work.
Thanks, appreciate it. We're gonna keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. Definitely proud of you, man. Keep doing your thing. We got to bring you back on for another show.
Hey man, we gotta
for another show later.
You gotta bring me on, man. Have me on for a current events sport talk, man. Talk that Deion Sanders situation out.
You wanted to talk that Deion Sanders?
I was gonna ask you about it, and I said I'm not gonna do it.
You could have said something about it. We would have talked about it, but we'll definitely talk about it
again. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we gotta bring it back when football season start.
Yeah, we'll bring it back. Only other thing I think I wanted to say was one of the things I did like that you said is that, you know, when you got the raising your bar, it's not raising the bar, it's raising your bar.
Yes.
So you don't compare yourself to nobody else.
Exactly.
And a lot of people do that, and then they start to get discouraged, and they don't like it. And I think that was a great message that you have there. And I want to end the show on that, raising your bar.
Yes.
That's exactly how I want to end the show.
Get better.
Exactly.
Thank y'all for coming out this morning. God bless. Great day.